When fishing a method feeder, it's important that you've got confidence in the gear that you're using. I like to use small soft rods for my method feeder fishing, which is a bit different to other people, but it's what I've got confidence in using. And I'm using a 9-foot Carpmaster feeder rod here, which is got a very soft action, but it allows me to wind quite hard on the fish, and because it's got a soft action, it allows for them lunges and any sharp runs that the fish are going to make, then it cushions that and eliminating hook pulls and line breakages. And to go with that, I'm using an Aqua 4000 reel. This is spooled up with 8-pound Carpmaster mono. It's a fast sinking line, it's very durable, very strong, which is just what you're looking for with method feeder fishing. It's essential that you have a fast sinking line so that when you're fishing to islands in shallow water, it doesn't get dislodged with the wind blowing a bow in it. That's a very important thing with method feeder fishing, that you have a fast sinking line. On the end of this, hook length I'm using is a 4-inch with 018 power micron to a size 18 hair rigger hook, which again is more than strong enough to land most match size carp. Sometimes I may step up to a 16 hook if I feel like I need to, and if I'm losing a few fish, but 9 times out of 10 I use an 18. A great tip when method feeder fishing is about what tension to have on your rod. I like to keep a very tight line from my rod tip to my method feeder, simply because a lot of commercial fisheries nowadays only allow inline feeders for the safety of the fish. So they need something to hook up against, so the weight of the tip of the rod being bent a lot means that when they come and pick up your pellet or whatever hook bait you've got on, there's some tension there for them to hook up against. Like when you're using an elasticated method feeder, they've got the weight of the method feeder to hook up against, i.e. meaning they don't reject the bait as much. So that's exactly the same when they pick up my bait now. I've got a good bend in my tip, and they're not going to reject it because there's no slack in the line. Some people like to fish with a slack tip so that they eliminate liners moving the feeder or anything, but I like to use a 40-gram method feeder so that it stays on the bottom, any liners, and it's not going to move because of the weight of the feeder, and also I can get a good bend in the rod and it's not going to dislodge the feeder. Hookbait choice for method feeder fishing, I like to use just a standard 6mm carp pellet. That doesn't mean to say that I'm going to catch on those all day, which is why I will always take a different arrangement of baits. As you can see, I've got white pellets, I've got white boilies, I've got red pellets, I've also got some pop-ups here, which it makes all the difference sometimes when you're casting in and you're getting indications on your method feeder and it's not resulting in proper bites, and just a change in bait can just spur the fish into feeding. It's every time you go fishing it can be different, so there's no set rule on what hook baits, but you always need to make sure that you've got a nice assortment of hook baits to take with you. You know, for an example, on a White Acres festival a couple of years ago, I was catching on a normal pellet, and then all of a sudden I can't hook a fish, and I've swapped to a 4mm red pellet, and it's gone round, and it's not often that makes such a difference, but it actually made me win the section that day, and it turned my match around. So something to bear in mind, and make sure that you've got plenty of different hook bait choices on your side tray so that it's just quick and easy. Change your hook bait and away you go. So on arrival at your peg, it's crucial that you find the right place to fish in your peg. I've been fishing to the corner of the island today, and after a couple of hours of fishing, the fish seem to have backed off a little bit. Now, here I am today, now I'm in quite a big bay and the wind's blowing into it, and because it's a pleasure session, I've got no anglers around there, and there's 2 or 3 empty pegs. which in a match situation might not be the same, you know, because there might be some anglers over there, but still you've got all this area to go at. I've then gone from the corner of the island to fishing over to one of the spare platforms. Like I said, the wind's blowing there, so it's gonna take the fish from the edge of the island and bring them into the margins. I've ended up fishing over there, and I've caught quite a lot of fish there. Then same has happened again, the fish have disappeared from me. Now I've noticed just down to my right, there's a lot of scum on the water and there's fish movement down there, and that means to me the fish are coming in even closer, searching for the food. And as the day's gone on, I've ended up fishing down here in this edge on a method feeder, which is like literally 5 or 6 metres away from it, and catching really well. And it just goes to show, just because you're fishing close here doesn't mean to say you need to fish a pole. You know, a lot of people would get drawn into fishing a pole and foul up fish and stuff, and the beauty about the method feeder is you can just plonk it anywhere, and like I say, when the tip goes round, it's hooked in the gob. And that's what I've ended up doing, and I've caught an absolute rake of fish just fishing at 5-6 metres on my method into this corner. So by fishing these 3 different areas in my swim today, I've really pushed my peg to its maximum. You know, it just shows that by using a bit of watercraft and exploring your peg, and not expecting to catch in one place, but more, you know, 2 or 3 different areas throughout the day, you're going to push your peg to its full potential. There's nothing worse than getting halfway through a match and having your bait dry out for your method mix. I like to use these 3D ground bait balls, which keeps all my bait in perfect consistency, so it's always stuck around my method feeder. It's brilliant because it's got a zip to keep it at the right consistency, and it keeps your pellets in top condition, because the last thing you want to be doing once, twice, 3 times in a match is having to re-prepare your pellets, which takes time and loses out on time during the match. And if you come to the end of the match and you've lost out by £1 or £2 on winning, or winning some money, you'll be very disappointed, which is why it's crucial to make sure that your bait is in top condition all throughout the match. And that's why you need to keep it covered up, away from all the elements, and it'll be the perfect consistency throughout the match.
If you want to watch more Matrix videos, click here. If you want to subscribe to the Matrix channel, click here.